In this video, I'm going to have a look at Python positional arguments. And you can see here I have a function, and this is a call to that function. If you look at the mechanics of the function, you can see it's just a print statement. Clearly, overall, this computer program is designed for teaching. And this statement here is pretty straightforward. We don't have to worry about any algorithms that are within the function itself. It then allows us to concentrate on the parameters and the arguments that are then passed to the parameters. This is the first program statement to execute, and it will call the function. And it does so because this name here is the name of the function. And you can see here we have the string Fred and we have 32. And you can see that they are separated by a comma. Now, they are going to be passed to these parameters in the following way. Fred is going to be passed to name, and 32 is going to be passed to age. This program statement within the function will then execute, and you can see that it's printing the F string where hello and the space following the hello is sent to the screen, together with, now this means the contents of the parameter name, and the braces surrounding name tells you that it's going to put out the contents of name, which we can see is Fred. Then this is put out, which is the comma and the space. Remember, the comma is part of the string in this case. It then puts out you are followed by a space. This here is then saying also output the content of the parameter age, which is 32. And this will output a space and years old. So when we look to the runtime for this program, what we are going to see is this. Hello, Fred, you are 32 years old. So we can see the F string has output this to here. The content of this is placed here, which is Fred. This comma, remember, is part of the string, so that's placed here. This slot is put in this position. The content of the parameter age is put here, which is 32, and then this bit of the string is placed here. So if you look at the runtime, you can see that the Fred and the 32 have come to here, and then they're used within this string and output appropriately, as you can see from the runtime. For the logic of this program to be consistent and to make sense, we have to make sure that the string Fred, i.e. the person's name, is passed to this parameter here, and that the age, which is 32, is passed to this parameter. So the order in which these arguments are placed within these brackets of the function call is important. They have to match the order that the parameters have been put in order to make this print statement here make any sense. So whatever is here first in the brackets will be passed to this because it is first in the brackets. Whatever is second in the brackets is passed to this because it is second in the brackets. And this is called positional arguments, where the position of these arguments are important. To emphasize the point, you can see in this call that I'm passing in the arguments in the wrong order. I'm passing in 32 first and then Fred. So when this program executes, what will happen is the 32 will be passed to name and the Fred will be passed to age. So when we now come on to execute this print statement, the output we're going to get is, as you see here, hello 32, you are Fred years old, which clearly is not what I was expecting to happen. I wanted it to be, hello Fred, you are 32 years old. But you can see what I've done as the programmer. I've put them in the wrong order here. The definition of the function dictates the order in which they should be, name, age. So your responsibility as a computer programmer if you want to use a function that has used positional parameters, you have to ensure that the arguments you pass to that function are in the correct order. And you refer to these here, which are in the correct order, as positional arguments, such that when the program executes, in this case, for example, it makes sense. Hello, Fred, you are 32 years old. So whenever you decide to write a function and use positional arguments, you have to remember the order in which you define these in order to make sure you pass them in correctly here. If you're going to use functions that somebody else has produced for you or are part of Python, and you know that they have used positional arguments, you have to make sure that the order in which you pass in the values are in the correct order.